Most women experience a lot of anxiety when interacting with a man, and most women also believe that most of this anxiety is stemming from wounding, and they need to do something to fix their anxiety, that it is some kind of problem. And it is certainly true that a lot of anxiety for a woman is due to wounding. It's due to trauma that she experienced, especially in childhood. However, we cannot discount that a lot of the anxiety that women feel, and in many cases, most of the anxiety that women feel, it's actually not stemming from wounding at all. It's coming from your feminine instinct. This is hardwired programming, and it is there to keep you safe. It is there to warn you when there is a problem in a relationship or with a man. It is there to protect you, and that's a good thing. It's a great thing. It only becomes a problem when a woman doesn't know how to properly stay regulated with that anxiety and doesn't know how to communicate what's coming up in a way that will inspire a man to shift and become a better, more capable leader for her. That's what we're going to talk about today in this video. Hello, my name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below. Hit the notification bell and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you today. And if you'd like help learning how to shift out of your unhealthy control patterns so that you can inspire a man, be sure to go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see all the links to my main offers, and go to zachrohdecoaching.com. That's my free webinar that will show you how to do that. It's a great place to get started. Okay, so what we're going to do for quite the last few of my YouTube videos, I've been reading from my book here, one of my 5 books, Inspire His Devotion. You can find them all on Amazon if you search my name, Zach Rohde. And I'm going to read about this anxiety issue so you understand where this is coming from and why, and then we're going to talk about it. So, have you ever felt anxious with a man? A stupid question, I know. Of course you have. Every woman has. But how much time did you spend trying to understand why you felt anxious? Did you chalk it up to your own wounding and insecurity issues, right? That's what I was talking about. That's what many women do. And again, that can be a big part of this. Or did you ever think that maybe there's absolutely nothing wrong with you and your instincts, feminine instincts, were trying to warn you that something is wrong? While a woman certainly will have her own share of wounding which can contribute to anxiety, much of it is often coming from her instincts. A woman's instincts are hypersensitive to the possibility of not being provided for and protected by a man if she were to submit to him sexually or after she submits to him sexually, because the risk to her genes are enormous, right? Men and women are fundamentally different. The genetic risks of a man sleeping with a woman for the man are much smaller than if the woman chooses to submit to the man, right? She is signing up for 9 months of pregnancy and a lifetime of taking care of her child. And your genes don't know the difference. They don't know birth control, right? They don't understand that. They're just responding in a much more primitive way. So her instincts are warning her about the potential of abandonment. At its worst, abandonment occurs when a man completely ditches her through breakup. This would leave her to fend for herself as he goes off to be with other women. But abandonment also means a man who abandons his duties to provide because he isn't there physically or emotionally to take care of his woman. And so understand, from a genetic, like from a biological standpoint, the woman is taking this huge risk by submitting to a man sexually. She puts herself at risk if he were to abandon her, because she's now stuck with this child and he's not. Now, I'm not talking about, government laws and all that stuff. I'm just talking from a strictly biological point of view. And so a woman's instinct should warn her when there's the chance that a man will abandon her. Like, if his heart isn't fully online to her, if he isn't really doing that much to provide for her, then she should feel some anxiety with the idea of sleeping with him, because she's putting herself at huge risk, as opposed to if a man is fully 100% all in invested, providing for her, leading for her, taking care of her, and she can fully feel that, she's going to feel much less anxiety, right? Because her body is telling her, oh, it's safe to do this. This man is still going to be there for me and for my child, if I were to sleep with him. Okay, so there are a million things that can set off this instinct in a woman, things that to a man are no big deal, right? Have you ever heard a man say, like, you're overreacting, like, that's crazy, you shouldn't be feeling this? Because to a man, we don't realize how things are such a big deal to a woman, unless they've studied polarity and they've truly understood a woman on a deep level, which most men haven't, right? So things to a man that are no big deal, and he may perceive her to be overreacting or acting crazy. But to a woman, it feels very real because her instincts are flooding her with emotions that are overwhelming. And so I'm going to give one example here, and I'm going to do some more videos on some of these other examples I've written, but we'll do this one in this video. For example, to many men, looking at other women's butts while with his woman. By the way, I did a video about this, looking at other butts in public. Checking out other women. Yeah, I think it's the most popular video I've ever done on YouTube. Women really don't like this one. So, while with his woman may seem harmless, perhaps inconsiderate, but not something to get worked up over. But a woman will often get reactive and angry, and underneath that reactivity and anger, there is fear. Fear of abandonment. That's not a wound. Some of that fear and reactivity might be stemming from a wound, and this is important to understand. It's rarely one or the other. Right, it's not, hey, this is 100% from a wound, or this is 100% from instinct. Usually, the vast majority of time, it is an instinctual response, right? So that's hardwired, and that's totally fine and normal. And then there is wounding on top of it, which exacerbates the level of reactivity, the level of fear that she's experiencing. Some of that fear and reactivity might be stemming from wound, but even if the woman was the most healed woman in the world, it would be normal for her to feel at least some discomfort or anxiety. If she doesn't, that suggests a wound stifling her feminine instinct. And that's the other important thing to talk about, because a lot of women will not feel the fear that they should be feeling. And, many people might chalk that up to being like, oh, this woman's really confident, when really her feminine instinct is actually just suppressed. And she might be operating more in her masculine energy and not feeling the feelings that she needs to be feeling. She's numbed them in some kind of way. And many women have numbed their feelings and their instincts to some degree in our society. Very tragic situation, just as men have. So, really important for this video, what I want to instill in everyone who is listening is a certain level of self-acceptance. If there's any part of you where when you feel anxiety, you're thinking, oh, this is just some bad thing that I need to get rid of. It's like, yes, of course you're going to be working on healing yourself, healing your woundings, learning to self-regulate. All of that stuff is fine. But part of this as well is learning to accept that your anxiety is there for a reason. And it's a beautiful reason, right? Imagine if you had no anxiety, you had no fear about anything. You'd be doing tons of stupid things, like jumping off cliffs and dying, right? That anxiety is warning you, like, no, don't do that, you're going to die. And the same thing is true within a dating and relationship context, right? Women are just naturally in a more vulnerable position with men, right? When a man takes you out, you're in a normal situation where the man is leading. That's the way that it should be, right? The man is leading the show. He's the one that's taking you out. He's the one that's making the plan for you. You're following that leadership. And that puts you in a certain vulnerable position. And so you're following this man, which means that you have to be trusting this man to a degree, right? Obviously, hopefully you're not putting too much trust in a man way too early, because then you could get really hurt. But you're putting some amount of trust into him. And so by being in that follower role, you are going to feel anxiety if he is doing things that demonstrate this man is not safe to follow. Okay? And I don't necessarily mean, hey, he's going to lead you into an alley and cut you up or something horrible like that. I mean, if he doesn't have a really strong sense of self, for example, like he doesn't really understand his boundaries, what he does tolerate, what he doesn't tolerate, you're going to sense a weakness from him. And you're probably going to feel some level of anxiety. You're also going to experience a drop of attraction and some other things. But you'll experience some level of anxiety because your body's telling you, this is not a man who can fully take care of me in the way that I need. Right? Where I can just fully let go and know that he's got me. Whatever comes up in our lives, if we were together, he's got things handled. Right? Because you sense that weakness. And there's many different, so there's that, there's his heart not being fully online to you so that he might be straying and be interested in other women. That's going to be another form of abandonment. Or if he's selfish in some kind of way, that's going to be something where you're going to feel some anxiety. If he's kind of not 100% true to his word, right? He says he's going to be there for 5 o'clock and he gets there at 5:10 and he doesn't even say anything about it. That's saying something that's important as well, right? Your feminine instinct should be going off there to some extent, because it's not about the fact that traffic was holding him up for a few minutes and it wasn't even his fault. It's the fact that to your feminine instinct, what that says is, if he's not able to be true to his word about that, then what else will he not be able to be true to his word to, right? And you need to be able to fully trust a man to be able to follow his leadership. So there's all these little things that are going to be causing anxiety. And if you decide to gaslight yourself or think like, this is just me, that this is, this is something that I need to work on, whatever, you're going to be far less likely to vulnerably and respectfully communicate what is coming up for you. You'll just brush it off and you'll just say, he didn't mean to, it's not a big deal, this is just my wounding, all of these kind of excuses. And so then you stay silent. And then a couple things. The reason this is a problem is, number one, you're not in your self-worth. Your need for security is not being fully met because you're not communicating what's going on. And he doesn't have an opportunity to even know that there is a problem and to become a better man for you, because you're too busy judging your own feelings as a problem. The truth is that your feelings, including your anxiety, and I'm focusing on anxiety here because this is the big part of your feminine instinct. It's going to be warning you with anxiety. It's like a fire alarm. It's an alarm bell. It's saying, hey, there is an issue here. There is a big issue. You need to be fully accepting of your instinct. And again, it could be wounding as well, but ultimately it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's instinct, doesn't matter if it's wounding. The fact is, you are feeling something. Okay, and a lot of the time, and I would say most of the time, at least, part of it is going to be your instinct warning you that there's an issue. You need to be willing to share that. You have to share what's coming up for you. And doing it, again, vulnerably, respectfully, like using feminine communication. That means not saying things like, hey, I feel really unsafe, or judging him in other kind of way. When you say I feel unsafe, that's a judgment. You're not being vulnerable. You're not being feminine. You're actually in your masculine energy, and you're going to be pushing him away, which is very common, right? And this is one of the reasons why women have so much difficulty sharing their feelings, is because when they try to do it, they do it in a way where they're actually judging. You're not doing that on purpose. Just nobody taught you. Nobody's telling you this stuff on YouTube videos, that unsafe isn't even a feeling, or unheard and unseen and all of these feelings that aren't feelings. And so you go and tell a man about your feelings that you think are feelings that are not feelings, and he responds badly, and then you get the message, oh, my feelings don't matter. I should just stay silent because every time I do, a man gets angry at me or he abandons me or whatever. No, it's not that your feelings were the issue. The issue was that you were judging him and you don't know how to communicate cleanly what's coming up for you. This is really basic, but one of the things that we teach our women students in our academy program is, yes, use I feel statements, right? Don't say stuff like you're making me feel whatever, because that's completely irresponsible. So I feel statements, I feel, and any actual feeling. And you got to know what the actual feeling is. Anxiety is a feeling, right? I feel anxious. That's a real feeling. You can be very clean with that. Of course, you have to be in the right energy when you say that. You have to ask him for help with the anxiety instead of just blurting it out. And you can't just go into a long story about your anxiety, a monologue after, as many women tend to do, because all of that is going to activate a man's masculine instinct. And a man's masculine instinct is going to respond typically with irritation, because a man's instinct, just like a woman's instinct, it's warning you about safety. Okay? A man's instinct, it's warning him about disrespect. When a woman is leading, judging, not respecting him in some kind of way, it will warn him. He will respond with irritation, and if you're not communicating cleanly, then his irritation, his masculine instinct, may shut you down, because he doesn't know how to lead you with love. right? He's trying to communicate what's coming up for him, but he doesn't know how to do it in a really loving way. And this doesn't tend to be a huge issue really early on, like say on a first date. Everybody's on their best behavior. But, a year into a relationship, it's going to be much more likely to be a problem at that point, right? And that's where, for many women, you're going to feel increasingly stifled because you don't know how to communicate your feelings in a clean, respectful way that doesn't activate his masculine instinct to react to that. You don't know how to communicate your feelings in a way that activate his instinct in a way where he feels inspired to want to take care of you, where he wants to change his behaviors to take care of you, to create that safety for you so that you can just relax and be in your feminine energy. How much better would that be? So this is the core, the main piece of what we are helping you do in our Academy program for all women. We show you how to communicate in a way that actually shifts your energy so that you're actually shifting into your feminine energy, and you're doing it in a way that's fully clean while also informing him of what you need. So you're actually in your self-worth. You're not just staying silent. And then he's activated to want to be a better man for you, to make sure that you feel safe, which isn't a feeling, but feel not anxious, feel relaxation, feel ease, feel at peace, feel just open and connected, right? If you would like help learning how to do that, not just in these situations, but in any situation, then the thing to do is go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the links to all my offers. There's many great offers there, but if you're particularly interested in getting support from me and my team, then go to thedreamrelationship.com. That is our Academy offer. It'll take you to a video to watch about what we do, and below that video is a button to book a call with me. And what we would do on the call is talk all about what's going on in your love life, figure out what your control patterns are, why you're stuck, whether you're single or in a relationship, and we'll figure out whether it makes sense to work with us so we can get you the kind of results that we expect in our program. And if I believe that we can, if we believe that we can, then we'll talk all about what we do. You can ask any questions you have about our program, and you can decide whether it would be the right fit for you. So that's below my video. Open up the description, thedreamrelationship.com, and I will see you on that call if that's you. That's it for this one.